Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 345 of the AMPM podcast. My guest this week is Mark Casey. Mark is laser focused on Amazon, on helping Amazon sellers create better listings, get better conversions, and that's what we're going to be talking about this week. Lots of actionable, tactical things that you can do to really boost your conversion rate, to really help your listings, and to sell more on Amazon. I think you're going to really like this episode. Don't forget, next week, the $1 Billion Seller Summit is beginning in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's not too late to grab a ticket if you go to billiondollarsellersummit.com, and hopefully you can join us in Puerto Rico. Got an amazing lineup of speakers, a lot of networking, a lot of fun, right on the beach. It's going to be some good times had by all, and you don't want to miss it. billiondollarsellersummit.com. And don't forget, this summer, I'm debuting the $1 Billion Sellers newsletter. It's 100% free for listeners of this podcast. So be sure to go to billiondollarsellers.com and put in your email address and name to get on the beta list so you can be one of the first to get this brand new newsletter. It's going to be chock full of advice and tips and strategies and hacks for e-com and Amazon sellers. billiondollarsellers.com. Enjoy this episode with Mark Casey.
Welcome to the AMPM podcast. Welcome to the AMPM podcast, where we explore opportunities in e-commerce.
We dream big and we discover what's working right now.
Plus, this is the podcast where money never sleeps, working around the clock in the AM and the PM.
Are you ready for today's episode?
I said, are you ready? Let's do this. Here's your host, Kevin King. Kevin King.
Mark Casey, welcome to the AMPM podcast. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to like the day where we're going to actually both sit down and able to record this because we're both busy people.
That's true, but you know, we actually recorded something back in September of last year. I think it was at the Sale and Scale event that Helium 10 threw, and I had like a little table set up outside the Helium 10 Elite workshop, and you came by, and I was recording just anybody that would stumble by that I could grab by the arm and say, hey, come over here and sit for 5 minutes. And I think you and I sat there for, I think it was more than 5 minutes just talking. And when we put that podcast out in September of last year, like your section was one of the most popular sections on the entire podcast. Got a lot of good feedback. So I was like, I got to get you on. You got to come back and do this again because some people may not know your name or they may have heard your name, but they don't know exactly what you are and what you do. And I would say, if I describe, someone said, hey, what's this Mark Casey guy? I would say, hey, he's the fixer. He comes in and fixes issues. Whether you have a crappy listing, he can come in and fix the whole listing from the images to the copy to the SEO to the A+ to whatever. Or if you're having some sort of issue with Amazon where you're having to fight with them, he's got solutions to help in some of those problems. It runs the whole gamut. Is that correct?
It's more or less correct, I would say. Yeah, so it's funny because like people always approach me like, oh, I heard your name somewhere, you give a podcast or whatever, but I don't know exactly what you do, which is funny because like, I guess, throughout all the years of me being involved with Amazon, I was always excited about different things. But I guess now I'm more narrowed down to like more the optimization point, the creative, the marketing, the branding, because that's essentially kind of where I started.
Now you actually were never actually a seller. You never like took one of these courses and were actually selling yourself, but you worked for some big companies in the beginning, right? Before you branched out on your own?
Exactly. Yeah, no. So I was never a seller, which is funny, but like at one point someone like, people started talking to me and giving me like all these phrases. I'm like, what are you talking about? But like, that's when I first started. My background's in marketing and branding. Like I've been doing that for some time. And how I got involved with Amazon was one of the brands I was working with to help them with their optimization and their marketing and their branding. They're like, oh, we're branching out to Amazon. And for me, Amazon at that point was like, we order something and it comes in 2 days. Like I never thought about it in a seller perspective. So
this is around 2014, 2015, something like that?
Yeah, early on. So it was something, but it wasn't as crazy as it was today. So I'm like, when you approach me, I'm like, no, let me stick within my four corners where I'm happy with. And, and he pushed me, do it. I'm like, okay, I'll see what it is. So that's where it kind of started to be like, whoa, there's this whole ecosystem and world that I never even knew existed. Like I was always on a consumer point of view. We were just buying a product, but realistically, like every click or every scroll or writing a keyword plural or singular makes a world of a difference. So I took at it from a different perspective, right? Where I would learn Amazon SEO or the algorithm, and then I would combine that with my marketing knowledge, right? So, they have a listing. I would adjust all the points and make the consumer happy because, putting the different points in the infographics or lifestyle images or what colors to use, etc. But at the same time, I would also look out because I know Amazon wants to see how long they engage with the listing for. When they click, I forgot exactly what it's called, but like from when they click to your listing to add to cart, how long did that take? Amazon takes all these things into account basically. So whenever I created listings, I did it in a way that was making the consumer happy in order to add it to cart, and then Amazon happy for them to see that they're adding it to cart and purchasing it, etc. So yeah.
So you said you combined your marketing. What did you do before? What kind of marketing stuff were you doing before this whole e-commerce deal?
So marketing it was more, I would say, design focused. I would help like design like packaging and just in general design. Like I was always like a hustler when I was a kid. I was
so
like that.
You had like a little side. Were you working for a company, or you had like a little side freelance business?
No, just something I did like on my own because I just like design. I like business. So I was just like like hustling. And then I went to college and got a degree in marketing and branding. And then I got hired by the company, this beauty brand to do all their marketing and branding and like the whole creative and the whole idea. And then they threw me into the Amazon jungle.
And so that started around 2015, right when this whole FBA thing was really starting to get some wind under its sails. And so a lot of people must have been coming to you saying, "Hey, we need some help with everything." And so things just exploded, right?
That's how it started because I started doing this for a company, right? And I'm not going to go work for other people. But then it's like, hey, this Amazon thing, can you help me too? And it'll be even from friends, right? Or family. So then I would help them out here and there. And then people were like, okay, come work for me. And I'm like, my personality is like, I don't like working under people. I like working with people because I don't like being micromanaged. So I'm still on good terms and I love them like a brother, the brand that I worked with. The brand that I work with, we're really close, but I told them, I was like, I think I want to branch out. I'll still service you. I'll help you. I'm here, whatever. But I want to branch out into my own thing. So then that's kind of where I started this unofficial agency where I'm starting to help a couple people here and there. And like the numbers were really growing. Like we were able to get people, to really the next level where their brand was on Amazon.
So you started out as a one-man show. Are you still like the one-man show today, or do you have a whole team working for you? I was going to say, you got to have a team.
100%. We have a team, and I'm very thankful for every person on my team. So I did start off as like this one guy, and then got my assistants. But now we have close to 10 designers throughout all our senior designers and whatnot. We have 4 copywriters, and then we have our SEO and developers and whatnot. So we have a nice team around like 15 plus people, which I'm very happy about. And they're the ones who kind of do all the magic behind the scenes and help us create the listing, optimize them. But at the end of the day, what I don't give up, and as busy as I am, which is a funny thing, but I can be really busy. I'm still the creative director behind the projects because I have a certain vision for every product that comes through our door, right? So when someone brings me a product, I would think of like all these out of the box ideas, which will make the listing successful, that even if someone is the greatest marketer or whatever, won't understand it in the way I understand Amazon and marketing. So I'll be the creative director behind it, even if it's for 1 minute or 15 minutes, give the idea behind the project, and then my stamp of approval goes on each project that we send out the door as well.
So is your team U.S. based, or is it a mix of
U.S.?
It's
a mix. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's very underrated, the talent you could find around the world, especially now with COVID being remote, like is totally normal. Obviously, our copywriters and content writers are U.S. based, and then some designers, and then the rest. We have people overseas who have really good talent. We're really, really, really picky about the talent that we hire, and we don't just hire anyone, even for like basic edits. We want someone who understands, and we could speak about this more in depth. But then, like for example, a main image isn't just a main image. There is so much science behind the main image.
Let's talk about that. What is the science behind? I mean, it's for those listening. They think they need to show the front of the product or the cover or maybe it's the box, and maybe they do a little pick food test or something like that, or they ask their friends and family which one do you like best, or they have their own favorite, and they throw that up and pray. But it's that main image. I mean, there's 3 things that are important on a listing. The most important things, that's the price, the title, and the main image. And I think the main image is probably actually the most important. Some people say it's the price or the title. The title gets you discovered, helps get you discovered, but the main image is what justifies the price and helps to pique the interest and lead them down the path. And so many people just they just don't spend the time or energy on that main image. So what are some things that you see that you could recommend? Hey, people, you need to pay attention to this, and this, or do this, and this.
100%. I always say, like, think out of the box. Just think different. There's so many ideas that we came up with. They're 100% TOS compliant with whatever rules with Amazon, but it just stood out so much that, like, their conversion rate and their click through rate would, like, jump through the roof just by updating it. There's so many things you have to keep in mind, right? If someone's scrolling on Amazon, it's a hard nightmare for someone who's ADHD, right? So 100 things going on, sponsored ad videos, display ads, 100 different things. You have to be the one that stands out, and then you get the click. Once you get the click is another story we can continue, but it literally continues the story about your product. But your main image is something that you want to have the shopper get a sense of what your product is and explaining it, but without giving everything away and without making it too busy that they're just going to look over your product right away, right? So like showing you something it includes, or showing, like, for example, when we worked on, like, I think either shampoo or something it was, and had like aloe vera, right? So we would put like a little hint of like an aloe vera leaf or whatever it's called on the main image. So right away, someone understands that this shampoo is associated with aloe vera, and we started getting the clicks like that.
So that was on the main. When you say it's on the main image, that was actually on the physical product, or that was like you put it kind of as a graphic or something in there.
Kind of like we photoshopped it in. We photoshopped it right next to the bottle, where it looked like it was part of the bottle, but enough for them to understand that it's not part of the bottle. And this is something that, even if they don't understand, their subconscious mind understands that, hey, this is aloe vera, and then their subconscious mind starts to think, aloe vera is soft, aloe vera is good for my hair, et cetera, without even thinking about it. So there's all these subconscious things, right, that your mind is already telling itself that you may not even realize, and then which gets you to just click that image. That's, the main, where this whole funnel starts, I would say.
That's that old adage of an image is worth 1,000 words, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So what are some other things that you can do to actually make your image stand out? I had on the previous episode, I believe, to yours, we had someone from Product Opinion, actually, and he was talking about, we were talking about some different ideas and things that you can do on the main image. But I'd like to hear from you. Well, you're the guy that's run a bunch of these. What are some other cool things that you can do to just pop on that page?
I'll tell you something cool, and I'll tell you something funny. So which one do you want to hear first?
Let's do the funny one first.
The funny one. Okay. So the funny one was what I heard. I think I forgot where I heard this, but we tried it and it worked and was hilarious. Is turning your main image, product image, upside down. Mm-hmm. Totally out of the box and crazy, but it's officially not against terms of service to put your product image upside down. But imagine looking on the search results and your supplement bottle is literally just upside down. How many people do you think are going to click just to see, like, is this a glitch? Is there something wrong with my computer? And once they click on it and they go on the listing and your product is a good product, you're going to start to get conversions.
All right, that's cool. I've seen people do that. I've seen that in magazine ads where you're flipping through a magazine and someone runs the ad upside down just because you're like, what the heck? It makes you stop. It's interruption.
Exactly. Yeah,
makes you stop and like you flip the magazine over, or in your case, you're like looking at the supplement. What the heck is that? And you're naturally curious, so you're going to click on it and then see the rest of the listing. Oh, this actually looks pretty cool. I guess they just messed up. Amazon messed it up. So that's cool. What's a cool one?
So the cool one. Okay, so this is something that it's not so deep, but you have to just understand it. So for example, we have a client who sells like office products, and he has a box, right? So the product packaging, he made the product packaging in a way that the corner of the box was leaning towards the right, meaning it was the corner was in the right corner. Mm-hmm. And in your subconscious mind, it's telling you to add it to cart and click to the buy box, right? So this may not make sense right away, but if you think about it, right? So imagine, like, I'll show you like this, right? So let's say he has a box, and you would put basically the right angle to point this way instead of pointing it that way, this way. And then in your subconscious mind, you're thinking add to cart. So whenever I first discussed this with them, he was confused. I was confused. We were both like, what? Let's try it. He tried it and it really worked. He said that out of all his competitors, he was the only one who was doing this, leaning the box towards the right, and he started getting clicks and he started getting sales. And I said, how do you know it wasn't anything else? He said, the only thing we did within this week was update our main image to just point right. And he did it on his other products and they started picking up, which I was really in disbelief about too. And then I spoke out with someone else and said, yeah, that has to do with your subconscious mind. It's telling you to add it to cart. And then the funny part was the competitors tried to copy this idea, but they didn't know what they're copying, right? They're like, hey, look at this guy who's all of a sudden his product became like, the bestseller or whatever in his category. So everyone wants to copy him. But everyone was turning their box other ways, but they didn't point in the exact angle, which I just mentioned beforehand.
I mean, I can tell you, I shop a lot on Amazon. I probably buy hundreds of dollars a week, if not more, of stuff, different items on Amazon. And when I'm buying as a buyer, forget as a seller, as a buyer, I don't read squat unless it's technical. I need to know that this, this HDMI cable is a 4.0 version or some very technical special thing. Then I'll look. But otherwise, I don't read any of it. I don't read the title. I don't read the bullet points. I don't read the description. I don't look at the A+ unless I'm really contemplating between two different things. I look at the images, and if the images don't sell me, I move on. Everything I need to know should be in those images, and then I look at I'm not a big price conscious shopper, so I'm not gonna let me see if I can find this for $1 cheaper from somebody else. I don't really care. I just I'm not gonna go down to page 2 or 3 looking for a bargain. So that's me, and I think there's a lot of shoppers that are that same way. It's you've got to sell them in those images, and there's things that you can do, like you just hinted at, like infographics and lists and comparisons. What are some of the things that people should be doing in their images? Should they be telling a story? Should they be some people say storyboard it out and actually tell a story. Some people say no, do a listicle, do a comparison, do a infographics to show all the pieces and the parts, answer all the questions. What's your strategy on this?
We kind of like to do a mix of both. Our general rule, obviously each category, everything's different. We like to combine 3 lifestyle images and 3 infographics per listing, right? Obviously every category is different. Supplements will treat a different way. That's the general balance we like to keep to. So you could keep a story in there, and we could also combine both. You can have an image that's a lifestyle image and then also add infographics to it. But you want to keep it clean that people understand right away. They don't have to scout and look for, or they don't have to zoom in. And many people, when they make infographics, they make the text like so cute and small. I promise you, no one's zooming in. And sometimes when I have clients in our office, I would literally open up my computer and I say, don't move from where you're sitting right now, which is the average space between a computer screen and your eyes. Can you read what this says? He said, no. So if you can't read it, do you think anyone on their small little phone or computer is going to be able to read it? So it's all about making it just visually appealing, nice, and for people to understand what it is. And then more in specific, let me think. So
let's keep it simple. So many people, they put too much stuff in the image. Mm-hmm. Or in order to actually read anything or to actually figure it out, you have to actually enlarge it. And you want to try to avoid having to do that.
Yeah, use big symbols, like use big icons, make it understandable. You have to understand that people in the shopping have kind of a pain point, right? Oh, I need a new crib. Why? Because I don't have a crib. So I'm looking for something that could fit A, B, and C. So you right away have to sell them why they need your product rather than everyone else's. And you have to do that in the second image, right? I was speaking to someone earlier today, and he said no one goes past the 4th or 5th image unless they're really heavily invested or you're, so to speak, telling a story. In that second image, you need to be really clear and precise. Don't just put some cute little whatever. You need to talk about right away the selling points of why your product is better and why they should purchase it and why they're going to be happy. So one technique or one idea that we do is part of whenever we create listings or whatever, part of the market research that's included is we research the competitors. We see what are they doing and what are they not doing. On top of that, we read through the reviews and see what people's pain points are. So let's say I have a pack of hangers, and the hangers are, they say, not, they keep slipping and the clothes, and people are upset about pulls and whatever. We find out all the reasons why people are upset. Now we know what people's pain points are. Take those pain points, put them into your listing. Now you're talking the language of your customer. If I'm shopping for hangers, it's because a majority of people are upset that it slips. So when we go and we say advanced technology or something that it doesn't slip or it has whatever feature, you already know in the back of their mind they're upset about it, but you're talking about it, and boom, they're going to purchase your product right then and there, just because you spoke their language, you spoke to their pain point.
So are you using tools to actually do all this, or are humans reading all this stuff?
It's called a human, yeah. We have one person on our team who literally is dedicated just to research. So let's say the product comes in, we'll see who their main competitors are, and then we'll see in a visual aspect of what are they doing, what are they not doing, and then we research. We go through those reviews heavily, and we look at what are people complaining about, what are the most things people are talking about, or the grip is not strong enough, or this is not. So then we take them and we use them as marketing and selling points that we know are going to talk to the customer.
So on A+ content, when it comes to that, a common mistake is people just repeat stuff from their bullet points, or they repeat some of the same images from their 6 images. What are some very important things you should be doing when it comes to A+ content? How should you approach that?
Sure. So I don't think there's anything wrong with reiterating one of the main points, because you want to put it in their head, right? So like the non-slip feature, again, putting those pain points in A+ content is totally fine. But talk a little bit about your brand. I mean, there is a brand story, so which is more recent, right? If you asked us a year ago, it would be a different strategy, but you want to reiterate even a little bit about your brand, that your actual quality brand, and you're not some, just drop shipping from China or something like that. It's important because at the end of the day, people want to feel like they have quality, right? So I'm sure a majority of people who sell on Amazon, their products are manufactured in China. Our twist or take on it was it's designed in USA, and we use that, just putting the American flag and just wrote even designed in USA, and people's sales started started picking up. Why? Because people just like the American flag, and we did a pick fu on it. We did a pick fu with 2 of the same images, and we asked which one would you rather buy. And I think 80 or 90% of the people chose the one with the American flag, just because it just builds that bond of trust. So even though it's manufactured in China, made in China, you can still say it was designed in USA. There's nothing wrong with that, and it really helps with sales. So going back to A+ content, you want to reiterate that. Premium A+ content, honestly, like if you're eligible for it, or if you're not, whatever, you should try to get eligible for it, because there's so many things that people are still discovering that you could still do with it, with video and just it filling up your screen.
And also for those that don't understand, what are the differences in the premium A+ and just the regular A+?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things, but in short and simple, it's mainly the sizing, I would say, different, and features. So a couple of features are, there's different detailed points where you can click. It's clickable. There's different slides you can go through. You can add a video to A+ content. And main thing, it's a size that's optimized for mobile. So that's a huge, big thing, right? Because right now when you make your A+ content on mobile, it's either really zoomed in or really zoomed out. With premium A+ content, you make 2 different sizes. Right, when we do premium A+ content, we deliver 2 sets of assets, one mobile and one desktop. Reason being is, for mobile, it's literally fit for your screen, so all the graphics are clear and easy to read and understand. And then for desktop, it's much larger, also much wider, fills up the whole screen.
Now, are you just helping people on Amazon do SEO, or do you help them if they migrate over to Walmart or Shopify or anywhere else, or is your focus primarily Amazon?
Laser focus on Amazon. I always tell people, say, do you do PPC? Do you do this? I was like, no, I really focus on what I'm good at, just because that's what I'm good at. I don't want to spread myself too thin, But yeah, Amazon is the wheelhouse, I would say. But I have created, brands and marketing and whatever for just regular day-to-day brands as well too.
And one of the things that you see people coming to you sometimes, and I know you look at your website, Mark Casey, I think was it markcaseyseo.com, something like that?
Yeah, that was my one-man band days, but I kept it because we got a lot of traffic from there. It's houseofamz.com, or our secret site is amazonseo.com.
Oh, cool. So at the secret site, amazonseo.com, I see that there's a list of, some services and stuff. So in addition to like the A plus and the A plus premium, are you helping people with video and stuff too, or are you just focus on the image side of things?
Yeah, video as well. That's something that we started like kind of focusing more on as well, is that we'll come up with a really good creative or storyboard, and we would produce either like two different types of videos. One would be like an easy like PPC type of video, which is like something you also use for your listing image, but more like product focus, more graphics, moving things. And we got more into like cinematic style, like commercial videos, which people love. And the reason is like, I mean, there's two things people love. And my mind really just runs much faster than I can possibly speak. But okay, there's two things people love. One, they like cinematic type of videos where it just feels like, wow, this is a real commercial. It's like part of a huge brand and it's really nice. So that's some type of video that we do, like really high quality cinematic. But UGC is so underrated. And I'm not sure if we spoke about this last time, user generated content. But I see a lot of people utilizing it and it works really nicely. Having someone just pick up their phone, talk about your product, or making it feel organic, putting on your listing. Because nowadays, everyone's minds are used to scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, and they just see people making videos all the time, right? So since their mind is used to that and they don't feel like they're being sold anything, right? You know, it just feels more organic. If you take that strategy and implement it on your Amazon page, where you take a video that feels organic, that someone's not selling you something, it's a testimonial or whatever, and I'll put it on your Amazon listing, the same effects will happen there too.
So how do you get that? Do you go to your kids and say, make me a video of my spatula, or do you go to your wife or your husband or your next door neighbor, or do you reach out? What are some exact steps to actually do that without paying some big, huge agency or something to get some of that kind of content?
No, there's actually, I think it's called Billo or Brillo. I don't remember. I sound funny, but I know there's one that's super cheap. One of my clients was showing me how, because people ask us, I'm like, there's no point in me trying to mark it up, and you can go do it yourself for so cheap. There are a couple out there, but I just know I think it's called Billo.
There's another one called Join Brands too, that helps create that stuff at an inexpensive rate.
Yeah. So, and these people, the creators love to do it because they're just A, free products, and B, it kind of shows that they're more official. Oh, they're getting brand partnerships and whatnot. So they love to do it, but it's so underrated. And there are people who really know what they're doing, so they could take it to the next level. Obviously it costs a little bit more, but like they make it really, really feel like a professional, like TikTok video. Or there's people who just literally take it, hey, I tried this and it's really working. And I think nowadays, and all the bigger brands are starting to do this too, if you look at their TikTok page, is they understand that if you put an ad or put something and people feel like they're being sold, it's not going to convert. If you're putting up a more organic style video, and at the end of the day, you're wanting to obviously sell them, but when they don't feel sold and you take away that pressure, it's more organically going to convert.
So how's AI? AI is the hot topic right now. One of the most downloaded episodes of AMPM podcasts of the last several years is one that from January about AI. I just recently went to a conference in Vegas that was all about AI, and quite a few Amazon sellers were at this event. How is that going to affect your business? I mean, I know you said you have 4, right? I think you said you had 4 content writers. Mm-hmm. Are you going to only need one of them now? Because the three of them can be replaced with an AI and just have the one guy or gal checking? Or how's that going to affect, how do you see that affecting this whole e-commerce Amazon business?
For sure. And I got this asked quite a few times. The way it is right now, I still feel it doesn't have that, human touch to it. It is really powerful, and I'm not just someone who's in denial, right? So like right now, like for real, if you just look at it, it doesn't have a human touch. It's really strong and powerful. But that being said, in 2 years from now, it's going to be worrisome. It's going to be like, whoa, it's going to get really good, especially through more data and more of it learning of what's good and what's not good, what the feedback. I feel like it's really going to be, side by side comparable, never the same, but comparable.
I mean, there's a service out there that right now is actually going to be using Midjourney and some of the AI, the APIs for the AI. They can take your images. I've seen one company, they were on the Helium 10 Elite back in January, where they can take, if you have a chair, let's say you're selling a chair, and you get a picture of the chair from your Chinese supplier, and it's just sitting in a room. You can actually take that chair and then with the AI say, I want to create a lifestyle photo where this chair is sitting in a room with a fireplace. There's a blanket on the couch, and out the window behind the chair is a Swiss chalet or something with some snow. And then you can it'll create that image using your chair as the model. And you can change the colors on the chair, you can change the textures. And then you can take that, and there's another company that's actually allowing you to take that and then do testing. It's kind of like a PickFu, but PickFu doesn't have this as of this moment. They may in the future, but they have ability to where they can do 2 images side by side. And then, the people write, just like on PickFu, they write their reasons. I like A over B because of this, and they write comments. And the AI reads those comments of 50 or 100 people, and it sees a pattern, and everybody's like, oh, I think the fireplace should have bigger logs or something. Then the AI automatically creates a new image with bigger logs in it, and I think the chair should be facing. I would like to see a little bit more of the back of the chair, so they angle it slightly different, and it does another comparison, a split test, and a new group of people actually vote, and you see what wins. It's going to get super sophisticated.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
It's pretty cool, and so like you said, I think it's going to take a little while for it to take off. I mean, people are using it right now to help write their titles. If English is not their first language, it's cleaning up their copy. People are using it to analyze reviews. The winner of the $1 Billion Seller Summit, Ritu, back in February, the virtual $1 Billion Seller Summit, she did 10 different ways to use AI to analyze your PPC and write it out to a Google Sheet. It's pretty sophisticated stuff. I know you're like right now, you advise some guys, I think, on how to get reviews removed, in fact, with this. Amazon, people are always like, how do I get a negative review removed? And we're always like, you can't. Most of the answer is like, you can't. Sorry. It doesn't matter how bad the review is or how inappropriate it's for even a whole different product. It's almost impossible. But I think you advised a company now that's actually analyzing the review, reads the review, then it reads the terms of service from Amazon, the community guidelines, and then it looks for, okay, in this review, this section right here violates these community guidelines, and then it writes like a plan of action or like a complaint and says, this review should be removed because blah, 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 blah. This particular part might offend this group of people. And you're seeing some success with that, right?
Yeah. Okay. So it's really something revolutionary that I've been asked to help with and this tool and just from my Amazon knowledge. And when they first approached me, I was like, this sounds so exciting because no one feedback. Yeah. People can get seller feedback removed. Product reviews to get removed, unless it's a shady way. No, you can't legally, you can't get it removed. That's what's in everyone's mind. So it was 3-4 years ago where they asked me where they started. I mean, more recently they asked me to come help them and consult. What do you think? How are ways we can change it, improve it? And they built this AI and they taught all the terms of service, all the guidelines, community guidelines, and everything to the AI. Then what they do is they collect all the reviews from your listing, they scrape it and they upload it to the AI, and the AI will come back and say these reviews are against this terms of service, and here's the exact reason why. Then they'll go and manually open up a case with Amazon, but with proof. So right now, when people go to open up, try to get a review removed through a case, they just go and, oh, this isn't fair. Oh, they're talking about whatever. They go with real data to Amazon and say, hey, this review goes against this terms of service. Here's the exact reason why. Please remove it. And I've seen in front of my eyes where I was in little shock. This is I'm getting the goosebumps right now because it's always just so fun and exciting. Like I said, this is a hobby for me. But I've seen where Amazon literally responded, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. The review XYZ has been removed from our platform. We thank you for making our community a better place. And I was jaw dropped. This is we've hit gold, kind of idea, kind of type, which was crazy. So, and the crazy part is the more reviews that they get removed, the stronger the AI gets because, okay, XYZ worked and ABC didn't. So then it gets stronger and stronger, and then the reasons get more, accurate, and Amazon removes these reviews.
So this is not this is not a cure-all. So if anybody listening thinking I can get any negative review removed, it's got to meet certain guidelines. So if your product sucks and someone just ripped you a new a-hole, they're probably not going to be able to get that removed unless it violates one of these community service guidelines. But the AI is really good at matching that up and then writing a strong case as to why this should be taken down. And so what's the success rate? Maybe 15, 20% or so?
I would assume, yeah, I think it was around there. They actually were doing it for a lot of like top sellers and aggregators until now, just like to test out the fields, and it's successful. So we got a couple of clients on board, like some of our VIPs. We're like, hey, do you want to try this out? And in the beginning, they're like, is this legit? I'm like, this is 100% legit. And you see the work in your dashboard. You see it in your case log where you're opening it up and Amazon's literally responding, yes, you can, this review has been removed. The crazy part is it's so sophisticated where it can pick up where one reviewer, if it left a couple of reviews, negative reviews on a couple of your products, a couple of different of your products, will come and alert us as well, right? So we can go now to Amazon and tell them, hey, this reviewer is abused, like they're attacking us. And a lot of competitors do this, right? But now the AI could tell us, hey, this person left 5 one-star reviews across our product line. And then now we make the case with Amazon to explain that to them and they'll remove all 5 reviews. Like, tell me that's not crazy.
Can you do that also where will the AI take that to the next level where like you can input, I don't know, say, I'm just making this up, 20 ASINs of your competitors? And will it go and analyze all the reviews to see if there's some sort of pattern of like this guy, this guy is attacking these 5 people, and these same 7 people are writing bad reviews or whatever. Will it go to that level, or maybe that's the next version of it or something?
I think that's the next version of it. That's a super good idea because there's so many people who are just like having all these buyer accounts, and you know how the whole spiel goes, where they're abusing and taking advantage of it. So I don't think they're doing that as far as to my understanding. But the negative review removal, it's really like I feel like wow, this is like the next level of something that's like so valuable. And I wouldn't if I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. But like we did it for our clients, and they really removed reviews. I'm like wow.
Well, what's the name? What's the name of that?
It's called Ugly Feedback. It's powered by an engine called TraceViews. That's like the main engine. And then Ugly Feedback is a service basically that offers it. I love the name. It's such a cute name, easy to remember.
Ugly Feedback.
Ugly Feedback.
That's cool. This AI stuff it's going to change everything. I think
100%.
A lot of companies are going to be having to readjust the way they do things. It's going to give a lot of more power to people to actually really analyze and hone in. I think it's going to make products better. What do you think about this recent thing that Amazon did back in late March, early April, where they actually started showing 2 things that they started showing. They started showing this product has sold 1,000 units or whatever in the last week for some of the best sellers. And how do you think that's going to affect like product pages and listings? And then they also are doing some testing where they were showing this product has a high return rate. 20% of customers or something return this product. What do you think about that stuff that Amazon's been playing around with? I don't know if it's going to be permanent or not, but they're testing that right now. How do you think that's going to affect listings and things?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's either permanent, but okay. So the first one with showing the sales, I think is a pretty cool feature. It's showing more social proof. It looks like because I remember hearing that Amazon wants to like veer a little bit away from how people view reviews as social proof, and they want to look into other ways. And it looks like this is one of their ways that they're using as 500, 1,000 other people bought it, which is pretty cool. So I feel like that could help rather more than hurt always. Obviously, I could see a way of hurting people, but the high return rate, that's horrible. Like that is, if I saw that when I was shopping, like majority of people return this, I'm like, heck no. Like, no, I'm just going to buy something else that people are happy with.
Yeah, I think that's a big, and that may be Amazon just trying to actually get people to fix their damn products. Because returns are a huge issue. I mean, if you look at logistics magazines or logistics websites, the return game is a mess. I mean, because Amazon, especially with Amazon making it so easy to return, what do you do with all this stuff? It's filling landfills. They can't recycle it. They can't give it away enough. They can't donate it to third world countries enough. It's a huge problem and just dealing with it. And so maybe that's Amazon's way of saying, we can't force you to get your shit together, but maybe this will force, another thing I think they could do is like on reviews, a product that has 90,000 reviews that it's been accruing since 2015. I think they should actually cut that. They should only show like reviews, like if they're going to show like sales in the last week, show reviews in the last 6 months or something. Because
that's a cool idea.
Something along those lines. or let you hit a button that actually shows that, splits it out. So if it's got 90,000 reviews, you just click over it or hover over it, and it'll say something like 600 in the last 6 months that are 4.9 stars, but the average for this product is 4.3, because maybe you had a product and you fixed some issues. Maybe when you first launched your product, it was selling gangbusters, and you had some complaints, and you went in and you fixed those issues that people were complaining about. That's going to be difficult to actually reflect in that score. Now, Amazon takes, when they're given the score, there is some funny math in there. It's not just a straight average or straight median. So they are factoring recency in somewhat in that. But I think they could take that to the next level, and that would help people that actually are truly trying to put out a good product and trying to fix problems and listen to customers actually have an edge or have a leg up and not be penalized for some early mistakes that may or may not have been their fault.
Yeah, that's a really good. Did you think of that right now?
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, because it reminds me of very random. But let's say I go to a restaurant or a store, and I'm so happy, or let's say I was so upset with the results. But one time was good, but the second time was bad. I always wish I could leave 2 separate reviews based on 2 separate experiences. So it kind of reminded me of that whenever you said that. But that's a really good idea. I think it should. I feel it's everyone deserves a second chance. If something was bad before, but it's much better now, I think that'll help out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the only way around that now is you launch version 2, or just create a new ASIN once you fix some issues. I mean, there's ways that people deal with that, but I just think that Amazon, if they're taking this level of what they're doing, showing the sales and showing the return rate, they should finish the whole path.
That's a good idea.
I think that'll help consumers, and it'll help straighten up some of the sellers that need to be whipped into shape.
Much agreed. I like that point.
So speaking of whipping sellers into shape, what are the biggest mistakes when a new client comes to you that you see? What are if you had to list the top 3, oh my God, this is why can't people get this right? What are the 3 biggest issues when a new client comes to you seeking your help?
All right, 3 biggest issues. I mean, there's a lot more, but I'll just say 3. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's see. I would say whatever I mentioned before is that people are not utilizing their infographics / lifestyle images, the secondary image space. They're not using that enough or the right way. Like I said, you have to grab the person's attention within the first 15 to 30 seconds of them going on your listing. If they don't understand why they should buy or why this product will benefit them or solve their problem, they're out. They're going to someone else. That's 1. 2, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the past, but I still see it, where people don't really use the description, the SEO description, right? So I tell people they have A+ content, and and I tell them, where's your description? Oh, it's there. I'm like, no, your A+ content is there, but your crawlable SEO text is not there. And people underestimate that, yes, it does have power. If Amazon could crawl the text as if it's I could copy and paste it and it's actually in your listing, that's extra space where you can be putting keywords for SEO and for you to just get extra real estate space. So a lot of people have a really nice design, but they don't put that there. So then many people say, but I don't want to ruin the consistent nice flow of design I have. So I said, no problem. On the bottom, just use one module, put as text, and then just put it there. No one's reading your description anyways. But if Amazon's giving you more space to use for keywords and description, then why not use it? Number 3 is it only applies to some people. And it's a little bit controversial, but I said it before. And then I got a lot of, not hate for it, but it stirred up the pot, And then I told people, I was like, hold on, go try it and then come back to me. So it's the title. People use their title the wrong way. And what I mean by that is they take the first word and they put their brand name there. So that it only applies to certain people. But if what I say is take your brand name out, either put it at the end.
Well, Amazon tells them that they're reading the terms of service. It says goes brand name first, model number second. That's the people that are trying to be buttoned up that are doing that. But I agree with you that it's a waste.
It's 100% waste.
Unless Amazon forces your hand. Unless they force your hand for some reason, don't do it. I agree with you.
So that's what I say. So take away your brand name from the beginning of the title. If you really want to put it at the end or don't put it at all, then use the first 4 or 5 keywords are the most important for 2 reasons. One, that's what Amazon gives you, Amazon takes into account. The first 4 or 5 keywords are the most important. And 2, when someone's scrolling on desktop and especially on mobile, and half the title's cut off, that's what they see first. Again, so the subconscious mind wants to see your title and understand it's a sports water bottle. They don't want to know that it's National Geographic or whatever it is, just a huge random name in all caps lock and then a sports water bottle. You want them to understand right away what the product is. So for as an SEO standpoint, the first 4 or 5 keywords are the most important. And then also just in a brand standpoint, it just don't waste your time. Don't waste your title with your brand name all in the beginning. It's just too much.
Because I mean, your brand name is in the brand name field. You'll still index
exactly.
for the brand name. So if people are looking for, and if you have a strong brand name, most of us don't. But if you have people are searching for your brand, and I always say, you're not a true brand until you have at least, this is just my number that I made up, 3,000 searches per month on that name. So if people are, if my brand name is Kevin's Dog Treats, there needs to be, when I search in my search term report or I go to brand analytics, it needs to show up Kevin's Dog Treats. Just those 3 words are showing up at least 3,000 times or more. Then you're actually a true brand. People are actually looking for you by name. They're not just looking for dog treats and yours are the coolest ones or have the best listing or the best pictures. They're actually looking for you by name. That would be the only case where you might consider putting it in the beginning because, but other than that, I agree with you. It's a total waste unless Amazon, like I said, forces you to do it because that's technically the rule.
Yep, very well said.
All right, so we got time for like 2 more. You said there's a ton of these. What's like number 4 and number 5?
Let me see. So, I mean, the video aspect, I think people underestimate the power of video. I've seen where you put your video as like the second or third like image on your listing. I forgot how people do that, but I think it's a good idea whenever you can answer people's questions through that video, right? So at the end of the day, no one has a product, right? So you have to do a really, really good job at the image being really good. So it explains the story and they feel like the product is in front of them, which it's not. But if you get a video that answers all the questions and also people are again, visual and they heard and now they feel like they're connected to your video, I feel like that's going to help a lot on your listing.
All right. Number 5.
You're really pushing me to the edge over here.
I'll ask you one that comes to play when it comes to SEO. What about the Q&A section?
Oh, okay. The Q&A section
is so underutilized.
So underutilized. You know, I said this like 3 years ago. I was just giving a speech. I forgot which conference it was. I was giving a speech. I was like, you guys don't understand. Q&A section, one of the most underestimated spots on your whole product detail page. Why? Ask me why, Kevin.
Why is that Q&A section so why does everybody ignore it? Why is it so valuable?
Okay, why is it so valuable? Imagine first of all, you just launched your product, right? You're not indexed for any of your keywords, or you're not yet indexed for any of your keywords. If someone goes on your listing and asks a question using those keywords, it automatically gets indexed on your listing, especially in different categories where there's restricted keywords and whatnot, where you can't ask different whatever it is. So like let's say CBD or tobacco. When someone asks, "Oh, is this whatever? Is it compatible or can you use it with whatever?" With those keywords, you're automatically going to be indexed.
I've seen people do that with like CBD. Like you can't put the word CBD or some of the pesticide words and some of that stuff. But I've seen people actually with like CBD or hemp oils, they will actually have someone go and ask a question that will say, "Does this product contain CBD?" And then someone will answer it, and they answer it in an official way. And they'll say something to the effect of, CBD products are not allowed, CBD and cannabis products are not allowed on Amazon. It's against the terms of service. Or something to that effect. It makes it sound like they're officially saying, but they're getting those words in there again. And all of a sudden, boom, the ads start working for those words. They start indexing for those words. It's powerful.
And the cherry on top is when people use your competition's brand name on the question and answers. And now whenever people search up their brand name, then your listing is going to start to come up.
Now, does that just take one answer, or do you need to is there like a certain, do you need to have it like in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these, or what are you seeing?
I mean, there's no limit. I don't know. I haven't tested it out, but I've seen people do it where how does this compare to A, B, and C brand? And then you could say, this brand, the ABC brand doesn't have, this feature. Our brand has this feature. And then again, plugging your sports water bottle and the main, short tail keywords in there too. That's just a fun little twist on it.
Yeah, the Q&A section can be some valuable stuff to actually help in a lot of ways, as we just discussed. Well, Mark, this has been awesome. This has been some great information. If people wanted to know more about you or check on some of your services or see what you can do for them, how or even hire you for your next speech or whatever, how would they do that?
So I'm very active on LinkedIn, but also our website, like I said, houseofamz.com, or our secret website is amazonseo.com.
So why is that secret? Why is that the secret website?
Because it's like, it officially says, it's a really cool website, easy to remember, amazonseo.com, but officially has a name Amazon in there. So like, I'm on the edge where I don't advertise it, but it's a cute little thing. People remember amazonseo.com, so you remember. But it's like, I just call it a secret website because I mainly House of AMZ is our. So
that website, everybody, that website, you need to go there now. That works for the next couple of weeks because someone may be listening to this and hey, you can't do that. And it's going to get changed to something else. All right, cool, man. Hey, Mark, I really appreciate your time, man. It's been great, and I look forward to seeing you out and about at whatever it may be, the next event.
The next event, exactly. I really appreciate it too. I had a great time. It's always fun. I'm sure we could go another 2-3 hours if we really wanted to.
I'm sure we can. Well, we'll have you back on later this year or early next year, and we'll do this again with all the. We'll see where the AI has taken us, and we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of 15 people, you're down to 3.
No.
Let's see. And you're making twice as much money.
Amen to that, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Hopefully you were taking notes during this episode with Mark, or you're going to have to go back and rewind and re-listen to some of that. There was some really good stuff in there and some really good takeaways that you can instantly implement in your business and hopefully see a little boost, a little success with it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back again next week with another great episode. Don't forget the $1 Billion Seller Summit's coming up in just over a week, so hope to see you there. Those of you listening that are coming, looking forward to seeing you on the beach in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Before we go, here's this week's words of wisdom. When you look at how the top performers in the world or on Amazon or anywhere operate, and you examine what they're really doing, what's really going on in their minds and what they're really doing, you often see the complete opposite of a hack. What you see is repetition and consistency. That's the key. Everybody likes hacks, but repetition and consistency is the key. So just take a look around. Look at the top performers in any field, anything in the world, whether it's on Amazon or in sports or anywhere. And if you really examine them, you're going to really see what's going on is that they're not doing hacks. They're just being consistent and constant repetitions of the same thing. We'll see you again next week. Take care.